Oh, g'day, welcome, how are you? Yes, it's my hobby room, and look, tug mugs are still available in the store, along with Fog of the River counter t-shirts. Yes, lots of merchandise you can get there. Yes, it all helps things out. It helps pay for Basta Cat's food. Now, look, I must apologise. Yes, I'm very sorry. I've kind of see this thing here. It's a 3D printer, and as many of you have been watching know, I've kind of been getting crazy, printing rings. These are not to keep your rooster stiff. No, these are things that are needed. Like this is a cat flap, although I think it's going to have to put Bask on a bit of a diet for that. And of course, upcoming videos which I've promised for the Stingray, I've printed a terrorfish. Well, this is only a test one. This is more like a terror morsel. It's like one bite. And there'll be more of that. There'll be a bigger terrorfish to match my Stingray. And as well as that, St. Louis, there's so much stuff coming up. But I've got my sailor's cap on here, right? My admiral's cap, or whatever you want to call it. Prop, so you know I'm doing something naval, right? It's obvious device. And look, a few weeks ago, a good friend of mine from the Netherlands, Andre, he turned up in Australia. He's looking around, looking at bloody flying dorniers and things and flying boats and what have you in museums. And he dropped in and said, "Harry, I've got a present for you." And he gave me this. Oh, look at that. Yes, it is a classic White Box Airfix Prinz Eugen. I think it's a 1976 version from what's on there. It's a bit sort of tattered and ratty, so I better put it down before the parts fall out. But I thought it'd be nice to do another one of my Finding Airfix Rare Kits videos. And we'll have a look inside the box. Does that sound interesting? I hope so. All right then, roll the music. There she is. Oh, look, something I've got to show you. I do print some useful things, not just stupid stuff. This is a snappy little holder for my tammy tape. That was free online in Thingiverse or something, I think it's called. And, it cost me the material $1, if that. I think it was like 70 cents. I actually have a calculator on my little slicing software. It works out how much the material that you're going to use, gives you a price. So about 70 cents to print that. It's a great little thing. It holds my tapes. Reminds me I need some more of that one. I'm running out. So that's a useful thing. There's been a number of other little useful things, brackets and things I've been printing. And we will get on to doing parts for models that are missing and creating scratch changes and things, but that's in other videos. Let's talk about the Prinz Eugen. Now, this kit came out in 1975, and this box says on the side of it 1976, so, well, copyright to then. So, who knows? Either this is a 1976 version, which is therefore a year after it was first tooled, which means it's a very early white box, but it doesn't have the blue insignia because, so that was the one that came out in 1975, they say. Okay, new tool, 1975, according to Skullmates. And if you have a look at the tree, this is the boxing of mine, but I've got 1981 on it. There you go. So whether mine is 1981, and it's just simply got this, I'll show you, it says on the side here. So you know I'm not making this up, but it says here 1976. See, this box has seen some better days. I haven't had time to repair it. Usually I'll go through and I'll glue all this stuff and repair it. I'll do that after this video. I will, honestly. I hadn't even put it in Skullmates yet. I've been so busy. Busy with my 3D printer. I tell you what, it is addictive, that printing stuff. Anyhow, so beautiful box art as always. I always love the box art on these Airfix kits. And they were sort of the reason a lot of times I really wanted. I remember seeing the Scharnhorst. The Scharnhorst was the second battleship that I ever made, although it's a battle cruiser. I suppose my first battleship was a warspite. And I remember the Scharnhorst, I saw it. We were on cruise from Australia back to South Africa because my father wanted to visit his family, and we're on cruise, the Orcades, right? If you know that ship. Orcades, right? P&O. And they have a gift shop. Ships have little gift shops. And there was the Airfix Scharnhorst. And I went, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. And I had to borrow like 2 months worth of pocket money, and they let me buy it on the condition that I didn't try and build it on the ship. And I had to wait till we were in South Africa. And as soon as we were ensconced somewhere, out came the glue, and I built the Scharnhorst literally in an afternoon. Yeah, very quickly, as you do when you're a kid. So, yeah, It's got a bit of a blurb on the side of it, tells you what it is. It's just old Airfix white box. If you know them, you know them. If you don't, well, you know, it's a very old box. Yellowed on this side, must have sat near the sun. 1/600 scale, of course. Airfix did that with all these ships. The instructions, well, they're not as yellow as you'd expect. I've seen some at this age very, very yellow. We'll see if there's a date on our instructions. No, oh, it's one of those. It's a foldy outie, as they are. It's a foldy outie thing, right? So it's big and long, and you know, yeah, that's what she said. Right, we'll get into that in a sec. I'm just giving you a quick look here, and you get a box full of bits, and there's, you know, it's long. I mean, the box itself is about 18 inches long, right? Or in millimeters, as I would say, about 35 centimeters. So, being a cruiser, it is very slim. It has a very slim beam. Okay, so it's only about half the beam of the warspite. The warspite beam's a bit across there. If you don't know, that's the widest point across the ship's deck. Okay, beam, and yeah, so it's kind of long and narrow and sort of pencil shape. Very nice, very clean moulding. Only basic sort of details on there. You've got all the portals. You can drill them out. I often do. You only need a tiny, tiny little, only 0.3 millimetre or 0.4 millimetre drill bit. You can drill them out. And even then, they're probably over scale. It's fairly good. You get the moulding of the protection alongside here, right? The armour. So that deck. So let's have a look here. 1974. The plot thickens. Scalemate says it started in 1975. This has got 1974 on the plastic, and the copyright on the box is 76. So I think this might be a 76 kit. The original moulding is 74, and Scalemate says a little bit inaccurate on that one. If you know, let me know. You've got the planks all marked out on there. Probably can get a wood veneer deck for this, because like my warspite, you can get wood veneer decks for these ships now. They're all available, because there's probably been a resurgence and a nostalgia who realised how much joy there was in building these very simple kits, but they were a delight. But not only that, we can add things to them. We can put a little bit of aftermarket on them, add a bit of scratch, and spend a bit more time painting them and do a nice job, you know. We're not just twisting the parts off the screw and gluing it together with spots of glue everywhere and fingerprints, and they go, oh, that's good enough. And the rest of the parts are sort of in the box here. Well, it's all loose. There was no bag. I don't even think they had bags in those days. What I'll do is let me get these out and separate all the little loose parts so I don't lose them. And then we can have a good look through the instructions and see what parts are like for each stage. Well, I've got all the parts out, and these are the loose ones, which is actually not a lot. Normally you find tons, especially really small parts that have gone loose. So that's making me a little bit suspicious that this part's missing in this kit, because it's those tiny little ones that go off first, and then with the box in the state that it is, unbagged and holes, I'd say we've lost some very tiny little parts. Yep, looks like I might be 3D printing a few things, but that's okay. Okay, so let's have a look at these instructions. You get a huge blurb, so yeah, there's a whole lot here about the channel dash. That would have been with the Scharnhorst, and then also the run with the, of course, the Bismarck, singing of the Bismarck. So there's all that, and then they blew it up as well with an atomic bomb at one stage. You can read all about that. All right, let's sort of have a look at this bit by bit. Hull halves, we've looked at those, and then you get your props and your shafts and everything. They'll probably be a bit flashy if I can find them. Goodness me, who knows? I mean, we've got a little bit of flash here on the cranes, which is to be expected. So the cranes are a little bit flashy, but that's okay. Surprisingly, oh, here's a little part that's going to fall off. Surprisingly, a lot of the other parts are fairly clean. I mean, look at the funnel. It's actually lovely, crisply modelled. This is the thing, an Airfix white box generally means the moulding hasn't been thrashed. And it's often surprising how clean the parts are. I mean, look at the little spider web here, okay? Or whatever they call that thing. It's, you know, it's atop the mast there. And even the barrels are in really good condition. Whereas you get a red box that's been rehashed and rehashed and rehashed, and you know, it's like 40, 50 years old, and the moulds are absolutely stuffed, and then, yeah, sure, the parts are absolutely buggered. Here's one that's one that's going to come loose. We might as well just help it on its way. So that can go in my spares. There we go. So yeah, it like most white boxes, you're surprised by just how clean things are. And it's not going to be a nice little kit. And you'll have very little to sort out. A lot of people whinge about all the Airfix mismoulding and all the bloody flash. They're 50-year-old moulds. And, you know, Airfix is really doing a huge disservice. They have come out with a classic range lately where they've cleaned out the moulds and supposedly tidied everything up. And so they're better, apparently. I have one of their kits, and yeah, it's a large-scale Francis Drake Golden Hind. And, you know, it's quite good. Well, found some props, screws, okay, they're there. So those are all in place. 3 of them, yep, there's 3. Because one fits in the centre, but it's moulded on. It's moulded on there. And the others, well, you know, when I was looking at that crane, silly me, I'm blind as a bat, I was looking for great big long prop shafts. Of course, this is 1/600, they're tiny. So there's a prop shaft there, okay, and these are the bolsters that go back on the sides of the hull for the whole business, okay. So yeah, they're those guys. So they are those little brackets. Not sure where they are. Haven't found them. We'll find them. We'll find them. They'll be in here because yeah, there's quite a few parts in this. It's up around 150 or something. There's quite a lot of little bits and pieces, and a number of them will be duplicates. So you know you've got that. So to show you some detail. So considering its age, I mean, you know, you're looking at a 50-year-old kit here, and considering its age, it's very nice indeed. Very nice model. There they are. These are the little brackets that hold up the prop shafts. Okay, so they're clean. They're even, you can see through them. Well, you can see into the holes. So not much work required there. So that's quite good. Now the superstructure is fairly simple. It's one large, I'll go that way. One large deck piece. There is no wooden moulding on this. In fact, what's it got? It's got the part number there, so maybe it's up that way. Yeah, it'll be up that way. So it's clean as a whistle, and often on these German ships, they didn't have a lot of wood on the upper decks. They were all basically a dark grey, a dark Germany type grey. And then you've got the bulkheads, right, all the way around, that way. And Airfix is moulded like the... Well, I was thinking, are they actually supposed to be windows? I don't think so. I think they are sort of like probably life preservers or something like that. Because you have got portholes here. You've got little windows and things. Doors, you've got vents, all that sort of stuff. So there's 2 of those. They will completely go either side. And then this will go on. And no doubt on our deck piece, if I can find it. Yeah, so that'll all just go together on here quite easily. Quite nicely. Up that way. And that'll build up. It's all built up very quickly. It's very simple. Very simple, easy. And then you're on to the turrets. Turrets early in the piece, which is nice. I like to get in the turrets as early as I can. So I sort of like putting the barrels, something like that. And as I showed you before, the turrets themselves are very nicely moulded. They would only be small. I don't know what is it, probably a 12-inch gun, something like that. I should look this thing up. But they're only a small gun, certainly not as big as the Bismarck. Bismarck had huge, great big guns. I forget, 15s, weren't they? And the funnel, which I showed you before, beautifully moulded, beautifully detailed. You've got all these anti-aircraft guns, which is normally something that gets fouled up with lots of flash because it's, you know, it's a very finicky thing. So that's part 68. So that would be, no, they look like torpedo launchers. They're very fine. Those are torpedo launchers there. 68. We've got here rangefinders. I'm finding things, and we're probably finding the instructions later. It's easy that way. Rangefinders, nicely moulded. So yeah, there's that rangefinder we just had a look at, and then there's not a lot in the superstructure with this. It's not a lot of platforms. This front piece here, what have we got here? We've got superstructure pieces here. So like any of these sort of kits, they're pretty basic sort of shapes. You can add detail to them. You can try and add extra sort of doors and windows and rip off the plastic stairs and put on some PE stairs if you're that bloody keen. So this would have probably the where all the sightings are done by the observers and everything to do with rangefinding, that sort of stuff. It's that observation deck type sort of thing. It does. Don't think I've found the front of it. We may be missing that. Yeah, I fear we have... No, there it is. It's there. So that is there. I really would like to find those tiny little guns there, but they would be really little. So, yeah, who knows? Who knows? We'll just keep going, Harry. Bluff it, bluff it. I think you know what you're talking about. Right, so you've built up sort of a subsection there, a little sub-assembly, and then that goes into the main deck. Not much to it. Again, some more little fiddly tiny little gun pieces which we've probably lost. They're no longer there. And then here, obviously they were things that were made before. Well, I got out my extra strong spectacles. Oh, I'm turning into such an old man. And here are those tiny little quad guns, which I imagine are sort of AA pounders. Right? They would be flak guns, would they? Would they be flak? I think so. It's usually what Germans call them. So there they are. They're sitting there quietly, and actually they're fairly clean again. You really won't be doing any tidy up on those. So that is quite good. Now, I was getting a bit worried with these instructions because they're starting at 7 and Airfix usually starts at 1. I mean, you know, and then we're getting other numbers later on. So I don't know what's going on. So I had a look online and I found a set of instructions that someone had uploaded for the interwebs, okay? And this is where I discovered there's a whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is back on the instruction page, which I completely ignored. I just absent-mindedly thought they were the instructions like, you know, do not glue this part here, decals go on here. You know, normally they have all these little pictographs and everything in there, and I completely dismissed it because this was so unusual. I'd never seen this before. But no, 1 is how to assemble your turrets. 2 is basically what these little things are here, which I thought might hold the turrets in place, but they don't. They're range-finding sort of devices, and they're up on little posts. Okay, so you need to make some of those. More turrets to make, more turrets to make. All these are smaller guns, secondary guns, right? These would be, yeah, I've got similar ones like that on my grass spray. Okay, and then you've got to make up your Arado seaplane. So there you go. Yes, just shows you how old I'm getting. It's terrible. Terrible. But anyhow, just looking through, yep, your sub-assemblies then go in. That's why they're 2, 5 and everything are numbered there. And that's why it starts at 7 there. Yes, Harry, I think it's time for your nap. Really? Goodness me. Well, the millennials have all just tuned out. Oh, boomer, yeah, whatever. Yep, can't keep that audience. Can't keep them. I'm not doing enough of this. Have you seen their videos? Everything's like, every second it moves. Like, chom, 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 in, out, flash of this. Holy dooly, I get a, like, epileptic fit. So there's that Arado, goes on there. Again, you just, like with all ship kits, it all comes together very quickly because you sort of seem to be doing lots of little things and fiddly bits, and then suddenly you put all the sub-assemblies together. Look, I've got a ship. So again, that was a part we had a look at. It was very fine. So you've got all kinds of bits and pieces going on there. Won't even embarrass myself. Oh, and here's, there's the starfish and the mast, which look very nice in the things. On it goes, and then you get to your final step 23 of assembly, and you're just putting on some booms on the side here and finally put on your anchors. Now, of course, no one actually builds ships like this. No, you don't, because you build up some things and you paint, and away you go and you paint, and then if you try and actually build the entire model and then think you're going to paint it, it is extremely difficult because things are on top of things and under things and all the rest of it. It's just too hard. You know, you need to paint your deck before you put anything on it. You need to assemble your basic hull and paint it before you basically try and put it together with a deck or anything. Otherwise, you've got a huge masking job and it's just about impossible. And suddenly you have to paint each of your decks. I mean, literally things need to be painted, then glued together, then touched up, then assembled. And that is the joy, but also sometimes the frustration. No, the frustration of building these sort of ships. Now, you get your usual Airfix sort of, it only shows you in black and white. But I found, because I was looking around on those interwebs trying to figure out why there weren't any instructions and where these things were going, I was having a senior moment. And when we look through here, there is... We've got too many lights here, Harry. Too many lights. Okay? So, however, There you go. Upside down, Miss Pat. Always upside down. We got too many lighting reflections, but I won't apologise for that. There you go. We actually get a colour version, so you get a sort of an idea of how it is. It'll be muted colours. It always is. You don't paint ships the exact colour. You don't go and find out the exact colour mix and paint it, like people do with tanks and aeroplanes. Because at this scale, because they're so far away, there is so much bloody mist and foam and seagull farts and dolphin poo and everything in the air that the colours all mute. And, they call it scale colours. Well, not really. The colour's still the colour. It's just it's diffused because at that distance, there's so much in the way. Okay? So there you have it. That's my short review of this classic kit. And I know it's got its foibles, and I know it's old, and there's a bit of flash, and there's a bit of this, a bit of that. It's probably a few missing parts. It doesn't matter. It's a classic old Airfix kit, and I will get around to building it soon. Got to finish that Warspite first, my tribute build to my father, my late father. As you know, he walked on the Warspite. Well, if you watch my channel, I'm assuming you know. If you knew, then guess what? My father walked on the Warspite. Anyway, look, enough of all that. There's buttons down here. Apparently they do things. They boost algorithms, all that kind of bullshit, Yeah, whatever. All right then, that's enough for now. Goodbye from Australia, and it's hooroo from Harry Houdini. Bask, put that down. Bask, leave that alone. Bask, what are you eating there?